Hello, Internet. It's been a long time. I've gone on some rants in the past, but that was a couple of years ago, so I decided it'd be time to jump on the bandwagon again because you know what? Politics is pissing me off again. Lo and behold, you've awakened the samurai. The big thing on everybody's mind right now is this whole Occupy Wall Street thing. Now, I've been in a few discussions and/or arguments and/or fisticuffs over this particular issue because I have some pretty certain feelings about it, and I need to convey those in a larger group consensus. Now, let's break it down. Simply put, Occupy Wall Street is a movement that insists that the 99% has been disenfranchised by the 1% of the population. The 1% meaning people who make more than $350,000 a year. Yeah, a lot of money, the rich rich, poor poor, etc. Saying that the system has been set up in such a way that the 99% can never ascend. They're the disenfranchised, the proletariat, if you will. There was a book written about this exact situation a long time ago. Now, regardless of all the people who claim to be scholars and well-read people who are part of this movement, I have yet to hear a single person mention this particular piece of literature that was written 162 years ago. This should be you guys' Bible, okay? It lays it all out perfectly. And guess what it's called? The Communist Manifesto. In the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx argues that capitalism is merely a stepping stone towards a society that's socialist and/or communistic. I know what a lot of people are going to say to that. Uh-oh, here's Socialist Bill again. Great. No, not at all. What I'm saying is that your exact situation, this exact claim, was made 1.5 centuries ago. And yet, so many people in this movement seem to be totally ignoring all of the arguments from that claim. In the manifesto, Marx argues that there will be a proletariat and a bourgeoisie established by a capitalist society. Now, everything will start off kind of hunky-dory at the beginning. But of course, when you climb into a capitalist society, you're going to have the people who are rich because they're royal and the people who are poor because they're not. Basically, the landed gentry versus the peasantry. But that's going to get integrated into this new capitalist system. So now, instead, you have the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Now, some may argue that there are ways for the proletariat to ascend to the bourgeoisie level. But such is not really the case because the bourgeoisie are a greedy lot. They like to stay rich. They always try to keep the proletariat down. The proletariat will be used. The proletariat will be abused in every way, shape, or form. The bourgeoisie will be so rich and so powerful that they'll get their fingers into every little aspect of daily life of the proletariat. They'll control government, which means they'll control the military. They'll control police. And even if they don't directly control, they will strongly influence because, let's be real here, money talks. That's the argument made by Marx, that the rich would get richer and the poor would get poorer. It makes sense. We've seen it in action over the last 200 years of American history. While we've established this post-industrial society and climbed out of the Dark Ages, well, I guess technically the Renaissance, but nah. Essentially, what's happening is we've gone through that. We now have the 1% and the 99% all the way down here. You have the people who the system is built against. The system works against them. There's no way for them to get up to that upper crust. I mean, yeah, occasionally there's a success story, and it's the American dream to do it. But how many real success stories are there statistically? They're irrelevant. You're not going to get anywhere chasing that dream because guess what? That's something that's been established by that bourgeoisie to help keep you down. It's called manufactured consent. You're okay with the system because you think the system allows you mobility while it doesn't. So let's cut to the chase. Marx says that in order for the proletariat to rise above the bourgeoisie, there will be revolution. Now, a lot of people are out there protesting right now, calling for revolution. But they're missing one key aspect. They're all saying they want to do this peacefully, right? Let's all hold hands, let's all have drum circles, let's all get high and be dumb hippies together, right? It's not going to work. Because, and we've seen this in action in the past week or so, there will be legislation written to kick your peaceful protests out. The police will come in and kick your peaceful protests out. If nothing else, they'll bring in the National Guard and kick your peaceful protests out. Peaceful protests worked in India and other places because they weren't here. The bourgeoisie was not threatened by that peaceful protest. So they were okay to sympathize with it. It kept you happy. It kept the proletariat happy to see people who were disenfranchised supported by us. It made us all feel all warm and tingly, didn't it? Well, it's not going to work here because there's a direct threat. If they comply with your demands, since you're part of the 99%, believe it or not, they lose everything. They don't want that. If I was rich, I wouldn't want to lose everything. I'd want to keep my yacht, my helicopter, my pick-em-up truck. I'd be happy. They don't want to lose that. And if they give in to you, they lose that. So here's the point that a lot of you are missing that Karl Marx laid out 162 years ago. You need to get violent. That's the only way that this kind of revolution will ever happen. Going through peaceful means, going through their channels. The channels designed to prevent you, the viewer, from actually getting anywhere, aren't going to work. They just won't. Because they're designed against you. You go to court, that's nice. They've got like 20 lawyers that are going to destroy you in the courtroom. They've got stipulations going back across all of American history that are going to keep you from getting anywhere in their channels. You get a congressman on your side, that's nice. Next election, they'll throw money on the other feds to get him kicked out. It doesn't matter. They control it. They control how you're fighting. So guess what? It's not going to work. America never had a revolution that was peaceful and successful. Alright? I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you think. Go ahead, bring up any argument you want with me. You know I keep these things open, and you know I'll just knock it down quite quickly. Peaceful protest will not work in this particular situation because, as Marx said, these people control every means of peaceful protest. The only way you can change anything, the only way you can be effective, is to come to arms. Take up arms. Strike out at them. I mean, there's what? Let's see, 99, and 49.5 million of you, so approximately 250 million of you, and somewhere around 2.5 million of them. If we're going on an us and them basis, like so many people like to in this Occupy Wall Street movement. Plain and simple, there's more of us than them. So what if they send out riot police? They're counting on you not wanting to walk through tear gas, not wanting to take a rubber bullet. Because you know what that means? That means you don't really believe in what you're saying. If you're not willing to die for your ideals, then they're just going to take advantage of that. They're going to play off that. They'll just send more riot police and say, hey, these wusses are clearing out. Good. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and beat up cops. No. I'm saying that this isn't going to work the way you guys want to do it. Long and short. And that's all I have to say about Occupy Wall Street.